And joining me now is Washington Democratic Congresswoman Suzan DelBene. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. Now, this bill to keep the government running will most likely require Democratic votes to make it through the House. Will you vote yes? Will it pass?
Well, I'm going to be voting yes. I think it's important that we make sure that the government's funded. But, you know, I also think this should have been done a long time ago. The fiscal year started on October 1st. We should be passing year-long funding bills, not waiting until the last second. And so it should have been done a long time ago, all the way through October 1st coming up. I'm disappointed this is another short-term funding package.
And Congresswoman, as you know, the world's richest man, Elon Musk, is whipping Republican votes against this package. So do you think that could cause it to fail?
Well, I think it's going to be important for members who are looking at to understand what's on the table. Government funding, important resources for farmers, resources to help communities that have been impacted by natural disasters. The alternative is shutting down the government. And so Republicans have to think about that. Again, we should have passed funding bills back before the fiscal year started. It's unfortunate we're in this position, but they're in the majority, and they need to make sure that they are putting legislation forward and supporting that legislation.
And this bill also contains a cost of living raise for lawmakers, the first one in more than a decade. Are you concerned with the optics here?
Well, I think members are going to vote what they think is best for their district. I know our members are really focused on the needs of their districts. That's what's really important. But again, this is about keeping the government funded and basically only funding us until the middle of March. So we'll be walking down this path again in the new Congress.
Yeah, and you bring up the middle of March. You know, unlike now, Republicans will control the Senate and the White House then, and their margin will likely be smaller in the House. So if they need Democratic votes then, will you be a yes? And will some Democrats need some stipulations to vote yes?
Well, I think it's going to depend on what we're voting on. I think that we are here to govern, and so it's really up to Republicans and leadership whether they're going to work across the aisle to come up with legislation that can be bipartisan. The way we really help our communities is by coming together to get legislation across the finish line. Republicans are going to be in the majority, and I guess the question will be, are they there to govern and work across the aisle to get things done, or are we going to see some of the chaos and dysfunction that we've seen this Congress?
And it's a very nice segue to my next question. Yeah, in just over a month, the president-elect will return to the Oval Office. So what are you expecting your function will be in Congress, in the minority, and what areas do you think there could be to work with a Trump administration?
Well, I think, you know, we always have opportunities to look at policy that will help families across the country, make sure that we're lowering costs, addressing things like affordable housing. These are all issues where we should be able to find a bipartisan path. Again, Republicans are in the majority. They're going to decide what bills committees take up and what comes to the floor. So there's a bipartisan opportunity if they're willing to work together. And we're going to also stand strong against any attempts to undermine people's rights, their freedoms, or undermine important policy that helps support families across the country.
You know, Congresswoman, the devil often is in the details. And so as we turn to specifics here, the president-elect told my colleague, Kristen Welker, that he's open to legislation on Dreamers. Do you take him at his word there?
Well, I think we'll have to wait and see. I think this is an area where we've had discussions before. There's an opportunity, if you reach across the aisle, to talk about what that might look like. If people really come in good faith and work across the aisle, then we might have opportunities.
And I want to turn to the Democratic Party now as a whole. You're once again leading the organization charged with electing Democrats to the House. In November, you picked up 2 seats while Vice President Harris lost to Donald Trump. So how do you explain the disconnect there?
Well, remember, House races are all across the country. We are in purple districts across the country, these battleground districts, and I think we did a lot of things right. We had great candidates who were authentic, independent-minded candidates who are really standing up and talking to all members of the community about what they would do to help move our country forward. We had the resources to help them communicate, and that's what voters wanted to hear. They wanted folks who are going to come to Washington, D.C. to govern, who are going to put their communities first. I think that's a big reason why we were so successful in races all across the country and ended up picking up seats.
Yes, but, well, I want to put up what Senator Sherrod Brown, who recently lost his race, told my colleague Henry Gomez. He said, "I lost in large part because the national reputation of the Democratic Party is that we're sort of a lighter version of a corporation, a corporate party. We're seen as a bi-coastal elite party, and it's hard to argue that." Do you agree with that critique?
I think why we won is because we had candidates who were speaking to the needs of their districts. Our districts are very different across the country, and we had candidates who were speaking to the unique needs they were hearing about from their districts. And these are purple districts. These are folks who really care about voting for someone who's going to stand up and represent them, and that's why we had strong candidates. They weren't Republican candidates who are waiting for Donald Trump to tell them what to do. These are folks who knew what to do, who wanted to reach across the aisle, who want to come to Washington, D.C. to get things done. And they built up trust in their communities, and that's why they won.
Well, Congresswoman, looking ahead to the next term, some Democratic ranking member slots are going to younger members who did not have the most seniority. So are we seeing the beginnings of a generational change in your caucus?
Well, I think we saw folks putting their names forward as potential leaders on committees. We had healthy debate. People made a case over why they thought they would be the best folks to lead committees, and we voted. So it was a very democratic process. I think the more we can actually bring things together, have those debates, let people put their ideas forward, that actually brings out the strength in our caucus. And I think it was really a healthy process, and look forward to working with all of our leaders as we head into the next Congress.
Representative Suzan DelBene, thank you so much for joining us here on Meet the Press Now. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.